Hi, my name is Tanner Hughes, and today I will be presenting my market analysis for the Lakeforest Mall site. I will start with an overview of the area and then get into the property location and site conditions, followed by my market analysis for office, residential, and retail uses, and wrap up with a mixed use market analysis and my final conclusions and recommendations. The Lakeforest Mall site is located at 701 Russell Avenue in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Gaithersburg is part of the Washington, D.C. Metro and is located approximately 25 miles northwest. The median household income is $86,427 and the population is 68,710 people. The site is a little over 47.5 acres. In regards to property location and site conditions, I think this site has very easy access as it is located less than 1 mile from I-270 and Highway 355. In addition, this site is situated on a pretty major roadway in Gaithersburg, which is Montgomery Village Avenue, which sees around 42,000 passing cars per day. The site also has two unique attributes, first being the transit center located on the southeast corner of the property. This transit center will be a huge positive for an office or residential development as it will attract the attention of employers and employees, providing that accessibility of transportation in close proximity. The second being the bodies of water on the western side of the property. I think these bodies of water, if strategically designed into the site, could be used for an office development. It could be used as a nature like walking path for employees to enjoy on their breaks and to catch a breath of fresh air. For a residential, it could be turned into a town center as a water feature with an event center located nearby. Gaithersburg's office market has suffered some high vacancy in recent years at 22.41% in 2015, even though it saw a relatively stable population growth during the same period. The population is forecasted to grow even further, nearing 6% between 2015 and 2020. Unemployment rate in 2015 was around 6.7%, and job growth even reached 3.1% between 2011 and 2015. One thing to note is that this positive job growth is mainly due to job growth within the service and trade industries, as the office using jobs have receded during the same time period. Nonetheless, the median household income lies within the $50,000 to $99,000 range, which makes up around 32% of the area's population. According to an office market analysis by Colliers International, office space in suburban locations has outpaced those of CBD locations by roughly 4% between 2007 and 2018, which is expected to grow even further. The national average rent for office spaces in 2015 was $29.70 per square foot, according to CBRE. In 2015, the national rent growth slowed, but still amounted to a 4% gain year over year. The submarket's proposed supply in Gaithersburg was more than 50% pre-lease, which means that it would not pose that much competition for a newer development, especially if that newer development provided a different asset than the current market supply, which consists mainly of B and C class buildings that are older. In addition, these trends towards suburban office locations versus the CBD locations, which were traditionally favored by employers, works in the favor of the Gaithersburg office development. Overall, Gaithersburg absorbs around 63,837 square feet per year. Given the market's current supply, I think that my capture rate for an office development is somewhat conservative at 20 to 40% of this yearly capture rate, which would equate to around 12,767 square feet to 25,535 square feet of new office development. In terms of the site, I think that this site is very positive for office development as it provides easy access and accessibility to transportation, and the ponds will limit the amount of road visibility and the pollution and noise of of Montgomery Avenue. Um, in addition, it's in close proximity to surrounding residential neighborhoods, and it has visibility from I-270, but it is also in close proximity to other office uses and high traffic counts around the area. But overall, I think this site is a pretty fair site for an office development. In terms of residential development, there are some key demographics to note within the Gaithersburg submarket. Overall, the population growth between 2000 and 2010 was around 2.62% and is forecasted to reach 5.79% between 2015 and 2020. There are roughly 31,422 households within the submarket, which boast a vacancy around 4.1%. Montgomery County has seen the addition of around 5,000 multifamily housing units since 2010. The biggest group of household size was 2 people per household, which attributes to 27% of the area's population. The biggest group is singles at 25%, which also points to an overall younger population and smaller size household on average. The median home value in the DC Metro was $410,000 in 2015, which has decreased to around $394,000 in 2020. This decrease in home value can be associated with the trend of millennials living in this area when they are single and starting families, but when they actually decide to start the families and want to get into home ownership, they seem to be moving away from the area. Due to this trend of millennials moving out of the area when they decide to start their families and have children, I would recommend multifamily development. Overall, the submarket consists of younger millennials who are renters. 44.46% of Gaithersburg population were renters in 2015, which was forecasted to increase to above 50% by 2020. There has not been much expansion in recent years aside from the few smaller projects mentioned. CoStar reports a 11.5% decrease in populations for ages 30 to 39 in the last 5 years, which coincides with this thesis. Overall, there are around 17,440 units within the Gaithersburg submarket. Employment growth within the region is expected to reach around 0.5% to 1%, and population growth is slightly above that at 1.4%. Average household formations per year is 8,200 households. I give a very conservative capture rate, around 5 to 10% of this, as the population has been seeing a steady increase but not a rapid increase, and my estimated residential development is for 820 to 1,640 households. Overall, I think that residential development would best utilize this site with a multi-family development. The site has easy access to transportation, and the ponds would also provide that natural barrier away from Montgomery Village Avenue. And in addition, the site is in close proximity to surrounding retail, office, and residential uses. Now, the negatives of the site would be the high traffic counts around the area and the highway visibility. Overall, there's quite a bit of demand for retail spaces within the Gaithersburg submarket. In my market analysis, I came up with a total retail demand of 226,356 square feet. And this can be divided into 184,810 square feet for NGS and 41,546 square feet for food and beverage, giving a total aggregated capture rate of 11.33%. Total sales in neighborhood goods and services is roughly around $321 million per year. Um, Given the other existing shopping centers around the site, I think that the site could capture around 23% of those sales, given the expected sales of $400 per square foot, which gives us a total demand for neighborhood goods and services at 184,810. Food and beverage has annual sales around 132 million, and given the most of the same shopping centers as NGS, I give a little more of a conservative capture rate of 11%, with expected sales per square foot at $350, giving us a total estimated demand of 41,546 square feet. Last but not least is the GAFO type of retailers, which produce total sales around 311 million per year. And upon examining the other existing shopping centers, the GAFO retailers, I came up with actually a negative amount of demand within the area, as most of the supply in the area serves this kind of retail. So I would recommend not building any GAFO type retail and instead focus on the other types of retail, as there's more demand for NGS and food and beverage services. Overall, NGS and food and beverage type of retail have the biggest demand, but specifically NGS within the grocery type retail. Currently, the residents around the area have limited grocery options and virtually no options for high-end grocers such as a Bel Air or a Whole Foods. In addition, the NGS also accounts for the highest volume of sales at 321 million per year, which is 10 million more than the GAFO type of retail sales. Overall, I think the Lakeforest Mall site is a great site for retail uses. It is highly visible from the freeway and from surrounding roads, and it has high traffic counts and is in close proximity to other existing office, residential, and even retail uses, which could go either way. Now, my recommendation is for these specific types of retail, aiming at NGS and food and beverage, and I don't think that the existing retail would pose that much competition to these types of uses given the market's current supply. Now, I want to cover the impact of mixing uses on site. Mixed uses on the same site have the potential to capture a significant portion of demand and help the other uses capture consumer and renter dollars through cumulative and cohesive attraction to the site. Mixed-use projects tend to be safer for residents and renters and more inviting for tourists, consumers, and businesses. The site contains a transit center / transportation hub, which will also help in capturing the market's demand within each sector and making the site more accessible and more easy for people to get to. Overall, a mixed-use community / town center would optimize the business generated and draw in consumers from the area surrounding market, as well as create an attractive environment for renters to live, work, eat, and play. In summary, I would recommend around 12,500 to 25,000 square feet of office use. Overall, this site would be optimal for office use as it is closely situated near transportation, residential neighborhoods, and is surrounded by various retail uses. The site would particularly benefit from offices that offer a product type which differs from current supply, with modern design, smaller to medium-sized spaces, and even co-working options. For residential, I would recommend 820 to 1,640 households. Overall, the demographics have been trending towards a younger population and a overall renters market. The area has an above national average for household income, so I'd recommend offering some purchasing options of apartment slash condo units or townhomes that are geared towards this millennial generation and breaking into the home ownership when they create their families and start to have children. For retail, I would recommend 41,546 square feet to 226,356 square feet. There is a significant need for grocers within the Gaithersburg submarket, specifically towards these high ends and traditional grocers, as their options are currently limited and mainly consist of discount grocers. Food and beverage can support roughly 45,000 square feet, which should be supplemental to the NGS uses on site. In conclusion, I would recommend a mixed-use development on the Lakeforest Mall site. I found the retail sector commands the most demand in the current market, seconded by office and/or multifamily use. Overall, I would recommend a mixed-use development that incorporates two or more of these uses, but firstly anchored by the retail use with ancillary office or residential. Ideally, the site would incorporate all three uses to optimize the highest and best use of the site and create this cohesive and cumulative environment with a live, work, play atmosphere. The site is large enough to support an entire new community or town center within itself and would also have the ability to pull in customers and workers from the surrounding area with its ease of accessibility. And the site has some unique attributes with the transportation center and the bodies of water, and could be strategically designed to enhance these natural features.